Hi, this is Sidney. So in this video today, I would like to share with you how you can know when you are being present. So by having this understanding awareness, you can have the consciousness to bring yourself back to your own center, to this moment whenever you go off balance, either to, living in the past or living in the future, depending on your pattern of your habit of, thinking that you're used to. So, in order for us to discern whether we are being present or not, first thing is to notice and recognize when we are not in present. So it's important to also understand when you are constantly going to the past, dwelling in the past, creating some drama and chaos for yourself, and understand and recognize your patterns. Or, you're constantly restless and constantly on the go, planning the next thing and trying to figure out, strategizing, making goals, to dos, and always in anxiety and restlessness. So, constantly living in the future. So, you have to understand and recognize your own patterns in order for you to um, be aware when you go to these places and bring yourself back to your center and to the present moment. So what's really happening is when we go to the past, usually we tend to think about what's at fault. So when we focus on the fault, so was it my fault? Was it their fault? Was I right? Was I would Were they right? And this triggers the ego mind, and this triggers you to your need to prove yourself. So we are constantly in that moment, and when it's triggered like that, whose fault is it? Is it my fault? Is it their fault? Is it the situation that's at fault? Right? Did I do something to create that situation? Was it my fault? Right? The guilt. So in that moment, it triggers. Okay, I need to make sure that I am right. I need to make sure that it's not my fault. I didn't do it. Right? And so what? I don't become a bad person. So basically, the ego likes to separate and divide between what is better, what is worse, what is right, what is wrong, who's at fault, who's not at fault, punishing, not punishing, reward, not being rewarded, recognized, not being recognized, all these things. So you want to understand the game of the ego mind first. So you can recognize your own pattern when you go into that egoic pattern. So egoic pattern is not who you are, but it's been heavily programmed. When it's heavily programmed and repeated and ran over and over and over, it's going to run automatically. So when there's a little trigger, it just runs automatically. So that's what we call reaction, right? We are reacting to it. And when we are reacting, we are unconscious. There's no consciousness in that moment. So we want to bring the consciousness. So to do that, we have to know and understand what ego mind is doing. Okay, so when you notice yourself having the stories now, the narratives are running, right? Because okay, I don't think I'm my it's not my fault, so I should say this next time, I should say that next time, then they will say this next time, and the situation will be in my favor in the way that I want, and blah blah blah, let's say. So in that moment you catch yourself, okay, forget about all this. What if you're constantly living in that thought the ego mind, you don't recognize that you are here. You don't recognize the beauty that's around you. You don't recognize the opportunities that you can create from this moment on. You don't recognize the love that is coming to you. You don't recognize the abundance that's flowing right now because all you're focusing on is the fault, right? Of what happened. And so when you catch yourself, okay, now what you can do is, okay, now I understand and I am aware that I am writing my stories now. The ego has been activated and triggered a response. And recognize your patterns, because now that you will see the kinds of stories that you like to, or you used to like to write to feed your ego. Okay, I prove myself. Because when we are in the ego mind, we want to prove ourselves. So we over explain all the time. Because we believe unconsciously that I am not enough who I am right here, and I am not enough where I am right here. I constantly need to fix something. I constantly need to correct something. So that's in line with, okay, I need to control, but it already happened, but we're holding on to it. We can't let go, you see? So the past, the old identities, the old patterns, old story writings, we need to let go, but we hold on because of these mechanisms that are playing. Okay, so I want you to have this understanding. And about the future, okay, when you're constantly expecting something, when you notice that you are expecting something, you're expecting to have this, you are supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. That's the mind, right? You're supposed to go that. Then you'll be enough, right? You always go for more, 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 becoming more, having more, doing more, accumulating more. So it's constantly about the more, more, more. And so you're never satisfied when you want more, because you don't think what you have is not enough, right? This moment where you are, it's not enough. It's never enough. And so we're constantly running on inner lack mentality, the limiting beliefs. We are constantly running on limitation that creates restlessness. We cannot relax. It's really hard for us to relax when we're constantly living in the future, because I have this pressure that I'm putting on myself, that having to do something, right? Having to do something. And if I don't, I feel guilty. If I don't, I feel like I'm not doing anything what productive. So that means I'm not being useful, which means I am being useless. So that's in line with my self-worth. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve abundance. So that's the poverty consciousness that's coming from the lack, the fear. So what in that's if that is very if that takes place a lot with you, then you will always think about, okay, I need to figure this out. I need to plan. I need to know, right? I need to know in the knowing, so then I can plan. I need to know so that I can take steps, actions. I need to know so I can strategize and go for that. So, what that creates is you're constantly in chasing mode. You chase, you chase, you chase, and it wears you out. You're always feeling tired, and life feels so heavy, and you're constantly fighting. And when things don't turn out the way you expected, that you set out to be, then what you do is you get burned out and you give up altogether. meaning you start to lose hope, you start to lose faith. And so, usually, when this pattern plays out, we tend to focus on the results, constant results, results. I need to see the result, then I can believe it. I have the faith. But you don't go for the bigger vision. It's not about the intuition that's aligned with your heart and soul, not with your joy and inspiration. It's about just feeling the lack, that you feel like you are not enough, you're less right now. So you are going for more all the time. So it's hard to be grateful and graceful where you are with what you have right this moment. And so you are feeling constant lack, anxiety, stress, fear, right? So it's really important to have these understandings, and also you have to give yourself a lot of room, a lot of space to go back and forth, because we are not being perfect. It's not about perfecting, it's not about improving, fixing, correcting all the time. It's about loving yourself and learning and evolving and growing. So you will have a different focus and different perspective. Now it's going to give you a different meaning that will give you a different energy frequency. And so you start to vibrate on a different level, not on a lower level. So when we expect something, right, we only expect one thing, exact thing that I want, exact thing that I want um, it to play out, exact thing. And so we get fixated on one thing that's very low vibration, because there are thousands of possibilities of different ways that realities can play for you, but you are only allowing this very tiny, limited, narrow vision, or this one option for yourself. So when something happens, or if it doesn't happen, you're always going to be in dissatisfaction, always going to feel disappointed or not enough somehow. You're always hungry in a sense that is okay, like I eat and I eat more, I eat more, I eat more, but I'm not full. I can never be full. So we feel depleted. And so we search for more outside of us. So um, what that does is, when we're living in that state, constantly living in that state of survival, of lack and limitation, what we are focusing is just living, surviving the day. And so it's hard for us to connect with love or joy or being playful or having a laughter or just having a relaxed moment. And there's a difference between being lazy and being relaxing. So lazy is just not doing anything and just giving up on yourself. But relaxing, you can go out, take a walk for an hour, exercise. You can still do that in a relaxed manner. You can eat in a relaxed manner. You can study in a relaxed manner. You can work in a relaxed manner. You can work out, exercise, take a walk in a relaxed manner. But it's all in the energy that you're in. Because if you're constantly in like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that in the mind, living in the mind, we are always going to be busy, busy, busy and stressed out. And nobody's telling us to do all these things. It's the pressure that we are setting for ourselves because of the programming that we are used to from school, society, institutions, asking us to do more, be more, perform more, produce more, right? So we were, treated and trained to be a part of the whole, but we are a whole on our own. So we need to have this different perspective now in order to reprogram and let go of the old identity and and old ways of living, because there's no need to chase. Once you have the right frequency, you start attracting, because you're like a magnet. So when you are in high vibration, you start to attract situations and people and relationships that are matched to your vibration. When you're in low vibration, you start to attract and, you know, um, face all the situations that are in the lower vibration, because lower vibrations means you hold a lot of fear, anxiety, insecurity, a lot of your unconscious. So you play out the same patterns over and over. And so what's really happening in the universe is, they bring people and situations that will trigger us emotionally. So we get to release it through the trigger. And so we can see the emotions that we are holding inside. So that's the purpose of these things happening. So everyone is a mirror, everyone is a reflection, the situations. So that's why we need to have this perspective that everything is a learning process. So what am I here to learn when there is an emotional reaction, instead of escaping and forget about it, or just trying to avoid confronting your own stuff. So that's basically what's really happening. So when you are present, what's really happening is you're feeling grateful. So you're not just thinking about what you're grateful for, you start to feel something inside the heart. So try feeling things with the heart. So you can do that by, okay, setting an intention. I'm going to feel now, empty the mind. You can command your mind, okay, stop operating for now. I'm going to operate from the heart. And then start feeling the water that you're drinking, start feeling the food that you're eating. Take a walk in nature, start feeling your feet touching the ground. Touching the ground, that's grounding, right? Feeling that present moment. Just feeling. And you might not be able to explain verbally, but if you feel good, you're in that present moment, connecting to the abundance, because abundance means there's no lack, there's no fear, there's no lack, so there's no guilt, there's no lack, so there's no doubt, there's no lack, so there's no confusion, there's no lack, so there's no stress, right? And the gratitude, you're just happy being here. And so, I had this moment when I was talking with my client. So she had this negative triggering event. We were talking about this, and at the end, she said, okay, then, yeah, I feel a lot better. And now I know I'm going to have a good week. So the moment she said that, I gave her the insight. You don't want to think about the whole week now. All you want to focus on is this moment. If you're grateful for what you have now, if you're feeling great now, that's all you're going to focus on. And when next moment comes, if you are still in that energy frequency, you're going to still feel that joy, love, and peace and harmony. But it's not the moment that you think, okay, I'm going to decide to have a great week. I'm going to decide, I'm going to try to be more positive. That's control, basically. That's you're forcing yourself instead of living this moment now. If you're feeling unhappy, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling anxious, instead of trying to be positive, okay, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to be less worried, instead of pushing yourself with the mind, what you can do is just allow these emotions to flow through by being present. By being present doesn't always mean feeling good, but being present also means that you are feeling everything that you are feeling in that moment. And then you're not judging. You're not judging what you're feeling in this moment. If you're feeling sad, allow yourself to grieve because there's a reason for that. If you're feeling angry, allow yourself to feel angry. There's a reason for that. It will come out. But what I'm saying is don't try to justify, try to figure out, try to reason it, right? When you feel, it will come. When you feel, and take a walk outside, stay present, being in nature, right? Being out in the sun, taking a bath, cooking something. You might still feel some anger. You might feel some sadness or whatever. That's heavy emotion. But the moment you think about why is this happening? What's causing this? Did I do something to cause this? Did something they made me feel this way, right? All these stories, once you go to this mind and start creating the scenarios and the stories again, you get caught up in the ego mind that who's at fault, right? And what you need to do. And so you cannot be in the present moment. So I hope this helps because in order for us to be present, we have to understand what it means. We have to understand when we go to the past or the future. So, um, one of the best things that you can do if you want to switch your energy is to, you know, definitely go out in nature because nature has the frequency, energy frequency that is naturally in balance, harmony, joy, abundance. So when you go there, the environment affects your aura and your energy field. So that can clear you up a little bit. Instead of just sitting inside the room and thinking about it, try to journal it out. Sometimes it works, but when you're journaling, when we are caught up in the ego mind and we are not recognizing that, we are constantly writing stuff, analyzing. So we get caught up in analysis paralysis. So it doesn't really help. So it really helps to move your body, move your physiology, because the moving helps your frequency that's low and stuck, that's moving very slow. And when you give it a little bit of movement, it just moves a little bit faster. It lifts you up. So you can jump, you can go for a run, you can walk, you can dance, you can cook, or you can draw, you can do something. But have the intention not to avoid or escape this emotion, but just focus on being present and grateful for what you already have and know that you are enough who you are right this moment. There's no need to fix, but we get caught up in fixing and correcting and improving all the time. And you are enough where you are right this moment. Whatever that's been happening, whatever that's happened, that's what's going on, you are exactly where you need to be because in universe there's no punishment. So everything is happening in divine timing. It's just that you have to stay centered to ask yourself, okay, what is the lesson here that I need to learn in order to evolve? That is the question that you want to remind yourself in that moment. And if you are feeling certain emotions like sadness, anger, all these heavy ones, the fear, what is the lesson? What is the lesson that I need to learn this moment through this event, through this triggering event? And then to not seek the answer because seeking means you're not trusting. So just ask and stay present. And when you do that, it will respond, it will come. You will have the realization, a moment of realization, when you're not expecting it and when you're just being present, doing your thing. If you're eating, eating. If you're exercising, exercising. And if you're relaxing and relaxing. If you're sleeping and sleeping, right? Just one thing at a time. And that's how you can start. So I hope this helps. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And if you want to check out my website and the service that I'm offering, you can go to www.sidneycha.com. That is SIDNEYCHA.com. And you can check stuff out there. So I hope this helps, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.